Hey, what's going on, everybody? So just sitting here on my lunch break, and I thought I'd film a video in response to something that I saw on a recent Facebook post in a group for vegans and vegetarians. I found this one a little bit disturbing because it was from an administrator, like a moderator or admin from the page, and basically the post was supposed to be in support of like mental health and stuff like that. So I get that it was supposed to be like a supportive thing, but I really didn't like how it just kind of threw veganism and vegans under the bus. Unintentionally, I believe, but it really set kind of a dangerous and, in my opinion, ridiculous standard and untruth about veganism and what it means and the experience of it. So essentially, the post was, offering support and empathy because we all know that veganism is tough, or we all know being vegan sucks is what it said. We all know that it sucks having to deal with everything, or hide who you are, or blah blah blah. Like, so ridiculous, because number one, why would you hide who you are? If you're somebody who there are two reasons why I think that you might find veganism tough, or that you might find like any situation where you're the minority uncomfortable. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about like a racial minority or something like that. There are some very real and obvious issues that exist within our society, and so obviously, I'm not talking about that. But in the case of being the minority, by being the vegan in the group, there are two reasons why you might, think, oh, this sucks. And number one would be if you haven't yet kind of found your reason why this is important to you. Maybe you haven't really truly made an ethical connection, or it isn't, you haven't crossed that threshold, you haven't crossed that line in the sand, so to speak, where you've had your epiphany and where you can no longer live in a mental state that predates your veganism. You could never not be vegan again because it's just so profound. It's been a paradigm shift. Your world has forever been changed. If you haven't had that moment, then sure, maybe things would feel a little bit more difficult. I get that. The other reason why maybe you might find it difficult is because you lack confidence. But if you're somebody who naturally isn't a confident person, or maybe has to deal with anxiety and things like that, or other like mental health issues, then those things are probably going to exist with or without veganism. So it's really not fair to to claim that it's relevant to veganism in any way, because it isn't. And while I'm pretty outspoken, I don't mind crowds and stuff now, like I've definitely gone through situations where for pretty much 3 years, I dealt with such crippling anxiety that I could barely leave the house. So I understand what that's like, but one of these things leads into the other. Once you find why this is so important to you, you automatically just gain confidence in it, because it's the only way you can possibly exist, and therefore you don't mind like being who you are, being authentic. And sure, it can be tiring to deal with people who are trolling you or just saying stupid shit all the time, but it doesn't suck, and it doesn't have to be like a case where you need to hide who you are. Like, that's ridiculous. That, in my opinion, is a disservice to the animals. It's a disservice to veganism. If you have, social anxiety, or you deal with things that, mental illnesses and stuff that would prevent you from being very outspoken about it, then obviously this isn't an attack on you, and that's not the case. That's not why I'm responding to this post. That's not why I'm making this video. I can understand those conditions, and certainly you have my support, and obviously I wish you the best in overcoming those things, and trust me that you can overcome those things. I fully believe that, because I've been there and I've done it, and I know many others who have. So, but the road isn't easy, so I'm not going to make any excuses or pretend anything. But I think for most people who, are in these Facebook groups or who are like, they've gone vegan and they find it hard, it is because they are thinking about themselves and not about the animals and the planet that we share every bit of life with. Once you make that just really strong connection and you realize, wait, it's not possible for me to be unvegan. This is who I am, and this is something I need to speak about, and this is something that I need to just be an example of, then it becomes extremely easy, extremely liberating, and you don't even really mind the annoying bits. You can choose to ignore the trolls who comment shit. You can choose to just kind of like laugh and joke around with people who like in my workspace. I work in an office. It's a professional environment. There are people who will still say really dumb shit, and obviously I'm not going to freak out and like cause a scene. You can cleverly play their game and joke around, but also just drop truths. You can just simply cite resources, and yeah, it may not be easy for everybody at first to have that confidence, but like I said, you find that voice, you find that confidence when you realize that this is who you are and how you're meant to live. So it's just frustrating to see moderators or admins of a group be like, oh, well, we all know vegan sucks and being vegan is tough. And I just think that sets the wrong message. It sends it gives the unfair illusion and expectation that we're a bunch of sad, sorry bastards just living in our world, like wishing that we weren't vegan, but just doing it because we have some kind of moral superiority complex or something like that, and that isn't the case. I am a better person making better decisions than I was previous to my veganism, and that's the standard that I set. That's the comparison that I make, and I'm fully confident in who I am and what I'm doing. So in any case, just wanted to kind of rant and say some bits on that. So hopefully you guys find this helpful, or gain some perspective if you're somebody who has dealt with a little bit of a confidence issue. And again, if you're somebody who has had problems with confidence or dealing with crowds or anxiety or things like that outside of your veganism, then it makes sense that would transfer into that as well. And so maybe you're not comfortable with doing activism and stuff. I mean, that's fine. Like, I get that. Like, obviously there is such a thing as compassion fatigue, and I get that, definitely. So it's not undermining those things. It's just clarifying that we're not a bunch of sad individuals who are like miserable being vegan, and we shouldn't perpetuate that tired bullshit, because that's exactly what carnists and animal industries want people to think. So we should not shoot ourselves in the foot that way and play ourselves a little pity party. But okay, that's enough of that. I'm gonna go ahead and eat my lunch now, get back to work. So thanks very much for watching. Leave your comments down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.